Hey, this is Sam Black with my last round with this Abzan ramp deck in Cube, and I'm attempting to earn a Cube trophy. On the play, I don't have white mana, but I think I'm going to keep this hand anyway, because Shaman of Forgotten Ways could let me cast Wall of Omens, and I don't know. This hand's pretty medium, but... Confluence, Careful City. That's a scary start. Discarding Grave Titan and Bruna. I don't love my chances. I can't really beat a Reanimated Grave Titan right now. There it is. Well, I literally have no way to beat this. Alright, so... against Reanimator on the play... This is a spot where I could bring in the Terminate Dreadbore package, but I haven't really loved my mana situation. I think I'm just going to cut Chord, because it's slow for a Plains, because I felt like I want a second one. And just leave it at that and hope for the best. I'm gonna keep this. It's conceivable that this hand can get a fast Recurring Nightmare duplicate going, which is a good answer to Reanimator. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna accomplish exactly that, but I might just be able to get to the point where I can cast Recurring Nightmare or cast Duplicate before my opponent does anything truly absurd. Yep, well on the way. Which, I mean, basically there. That's annoying. I think just moving in is the best way to deal with this lily. If I draw a land, I can Elish Norn. If I don't, I can attack with Stirring Wildwood. reason not to attack with both. I think blocking this during Wildwood was basically just better. Liliana would have more counters, and then it would plus and kill the token, and then it would just have more counters. The board would otherwise be the same. Yay, Liliana's dead. Now I can play Noble Hierarch. Alright. Hopefully this leads to a good duplicate target and not something horrible happening. Alright, maybe a little both. I'm not going to play the bird so that if my opponent's answers involve sweeping the board, I can bird into Recurring Nightmare. Well, I guess I could Wildwood Recurring Nightmare, so I guess I will play the bird because it makes Elvish Norn lines better. Interesting answer. I hope this is Reanimate Grave Titan just because Elvish Norn is a satisfying way to deal with the zombies. Also, the life loss from Reanimate might make Elvish Norn fairly problematic. I guess it would just be a 3-point swing from the bird, so it would put my opponent at 2. Dragon Lord Atarka. Alright, it's a little different. Oh, you too have recurring nightmare. I see. I was hoping to draw Elspeth there, but I'll just cast the creature that I can cast. So recurring nightmare gets Bone Shredder to kill Elishnorn. I think I wake this up. Attack. And then swap it out for Elishnorn to kill Jace. So that I still have access to duplicant. So now my opponent can sack Shambling Vent to get back Bone Shredder. Oh, or can just Karmic Guide. But Karmic Guide dies immediately. But now this can get probably Reflector Mage. No, Bone Shredder. Okay, but Bone Shredder will die immediately. Now Elishnorn is dead. And then I guess my opponent can animate Shambling Vent and sack it to get something, but then I can duplicate them with something. This is an interesting game. You don't get to play a lot of recurring Nightmare Mirrors in Cube because of... I guess my opponent can attack first, that's something. But since Cube is singleton, you usually don't get to play mirrors like this, and it's kind of sweet to get to. Alright, well. Don't see any reason not to present Elishnorn again. Make my opponent deal with all this stuff. But yeah, I think that getting to play the Recurring Nightmare Mirror is actually a sweet aspect of cube leagues. Alright. Probably turn that into Karmic Guide to get a Tarka. Kill my spirits. But then I get to duplicate to Tarka. And if I draw a land, Recurring Nightmare, sack duplicate, and get Elish Norn to kill the Karmic Guide. And the question is, does my opponent recognize that they want to keep a Tarka out of play so that I can't duplicate it? Yes. Oh, well then. My mana situation is grim enough that I'm going to make the same mistake my opponent just made and put Recurring Nightmare into play. So now my opponent gets to flip Jace, but doesn't really have enough life to do anything great with Reanimate. Well, that's not a problem. So I can just duplicate Grave Titan, swap it out for Elish Norn to clean up the zombies. Quagmire is very powerful here, for no other reason than it lets me have a sticky creature that I can recur back if my opponent deals with Elish Norn. Reanimate Bone Shredder, go to 1. And then animate Shambling Vent to go up to 3. And put me down to 4. is a really good match. Well, game specifically. First game was... Alright. Interesting. Yep. Alright, so I can't cast Elish Norn, so I think I'd rather sack this thing than the Quagmire. Obviously I have to exile this. Yes. And now I have a 4-3, which my opponent can Jace down to being a 2-3, which isn't any better at blocking than an 0-3. So I'm going to recur back this Shaman so that I can duplicate more easily. The only problem with that is that it means that I die to a reanimation effect on Bone Shredder, whereas I don't with Duplicant in play. So maybe it's better to just leave it as is and have Recurring Nightmare in play. Alright, we'll do that. The larger creature also represents better counterattacks with Elish Norn. That's not good. Now my opponent can just find a removal spell and then Jace it and then get rid of my creature and then attack me for 4, and I will lose. I suspect is how this is going to play out, but my opponent does have to have a removal spell that answers duplicate and costs little enough mana. Oh. Well, that's a different approach. So the game continues. So now, clearly, I cast Elish Norn. And this is exactly not lethal. So, I'll attack. Let's attack Jace. I have no idea if that's what I want to draw next turn. Here's a really good thing to get into the mix. game is on such a short timeline at this point. I'll top it. Alright, now we have to decide if I want Shaman of Forgotten Ways or Bird of Paradise. I think I want Shaman. So now I'm dead if my opponent answers Elish Norn, as this would be more than my life total in flying power. But my opponent didn't have any spells that did that in their deck, apparently, so... Alright. Now things have gotten really interesting. I think I want to use this thing for mana. Alright, so now that flyer's gone. I can attack with Elspeth. And I can play Devoted Druid. And Recurring Nightmare. And I can swap anything into Solemn. I mean, yeah, anything into Solemn. And I think I want to swap Duplicant to give myself access to the removal spell. Alright. I think I'm going to win this game. It's a very, very long, crazy, hard-fought game. Toxic Deluge for 7, putting us both at 1. And then my opponent gets to attack with Shambling Vent and kill me. Oh, that's so insane. Oh, wow. And I wouldn't have died if I didn't use Recurring Night, if I didn't play the Druid and Recurring Nightmare, because I'd have to land a block. How crazy. I guess it would be reasonable to play around a sweeper there. Alright, well, I lost, but that was totally awesome. Props to my opponent.